All right, guys. Sorry about that mix-up. That was my fault again. Uh, don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, apologies. All right, I started another live stream, and I wasn't. Anyway, I didn't double check, so that was my fault. Again, do apologize. Let's see. All right, all right, all right. Playing around with something linear. All right, good morning. All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for again joining me and joining me for my fucking bullshit mishaps. Anyway, thank you, Emma, for joining us from England. All right, guys. So let's get the morning started. So today's, or rather, this week's mid morning reports, guys. There's so many things going on. It's insane. It's hard to keep up with actually at times. Just all the nonsense. With all the nonsense going on, it's uh it's it's insane. So let's start with the more, I hate to say this, tragic cases here in the city. Was a 19-year-old girl cashier who was working at Burger King who was shot for $100. Now, seemingly, it seems like the girl handed over the money and the guy shot her anyway. Um, you know, what the fuck, right? She was working there for 3 weeks, right? Just over 3 weeks. And she wind up dying for $100 fucking. So, they didn't catch the guy. I know last night on the stream I did say someone told me that they caught him. They did not catch him yet. There is a $10,000 reward for his capture. Um, I preferably think that people, if you do catch this dude, beat the balls off of him, break all his legs and his arms. But that's me. Um, Other than that, I think cops should do the right thing in this one, and make it hurt, make him never forget it. This is one of those kids who were, obviously trying to do the right thing. She's working at Burger King, and then she gets killed. Desiree said 1 week. All right, so whatever it is, 1 week, 3 weeks. She started working it. Right, she just started her job there, so it does suck. Bum, bum, bum. And yeah, guys, it's a shit show here in the city with the crime. You thought that Mayor Adams or Eric Adams was going to do some shit, and he didn't. We're going to talk about Eric Adams' new corruption. Not new, but he's starting his corruption path very strong. He's not even shy about it. But we're going to get into that a little later. So next tidbit of news is I think a lot of us would be, I wouldn't say happy, but just maybe not happy, but interested that Alexandria Oscil Cortez, I can't stand saying that name, she tested positive for COVID. Mayor Lightfoot in Chicago, she tested positive for COVID. And West Virginia Governor Jim Justice also tested positive for COVID. All three of these people have what in common? They were vaccinated and they were boosted, and they still got COVID. So, such is life, guys. It lends to the argument of what we've been saying. A lot of us have been saying for the last few months, right? So, with that, guys, it's interesting. I find it interesting. Sorry, still trying to get rid of this shitty cold. Almost gone, but not quite. But yeah, guys, it's interesting how a lot of people who are vaxxed and boosted are still getting this. It's a waste of time, if you ask me. I'm not going to get too deep into it. I'm going to try to keep from saying certain things to figure out this YouTube algorithm. Now, I noticed on the Angry Prepper channel, sorry, any video I upload now, it gets demonetized out of the gates, and then an hour or two later, it gets monetized. And some of the videos, guys, that I've gotten demonetized on the Angry Prepper channel, I have not even come close to talking about anything political. And yet, it still got demonetized. I actually had a video about flat roll duct tape demonetized. So, go figure. So, obviously, last week or the end of last week, we found out about Deltacron, right? The new scare tactic. You also still have the French variant, the IHU, and there was another one that they're monitoring in China. Irish Eyes, yes, duct tape. I did a flat roll duct tape video and it got demonetized. Obviously, I appealed it and it passed, but still, nonetheless, guys, it's about duct tape. I wasn't talking about COVID or vaccines. I wasn't talking about any of that shit, and they still demonetized it. So, interestingly enough, YouTube's AI, whatever that thing they use, it just it doesn't work. Bottom line, like everything else that has come out, hasn't worked. And Maria Jackson, absolutely, build your immunity, your immune system. That's what everybody needs to be doing right now, building their immune system. Fuck all the bullshit. Build your immune system. That's right, Night Ace 2. You also have Flurona. I forgot about that. Right, that nice little treat after the New Year's. They blessed us with Flurona, and then they said Deltacron. Now you guys are going to be attacked from both sides. And they're going to come up with a third, sixth, seventh, eighth, 20th, 90th fucking variant just to keep us, or to keep the weak and easily confused in control. That's what I meant to say. Guardian Prepping, thank you for becoming a member. Appreciate it. So, guys, as far as the whole membership thing, I am going to start doing videos for membership only. Just because, again, I know some of you are going to be pissed off, but I don't give a fuck. I know some of you guys are joining the membership and you want something out of it, so I'm going to start doing videos. Now, the videos that I'm going to start doing for the membership only club, if you will, I'm gonna toe that line. I'm gonna take it there to see where that cutoff is, where if I get another strike or not with the membership only club. We will see where that goes. I'm feeling my oats, so I'm gonna test the waters a little bit with those videos and see what triggers the algorithm and what doesn't. And when I mean the algorithm, I mean YouTube to give me a strike. That's what I'm looking to trigger with the members only to see how far we can go. Because there's a couple videos I want to do, but whatever. Wrench 31, yes. So interestingly enough, they will put commercials on demonetized videos, and you won't get any of that. And the crazy shit is, they were talking about it. I haven't seen it yet, but channels that are not monetized, they were talking about putting videos on their channel. Now, the crazy shit is, it opens up a door of bullshit, because if they start putting commercials, on channels that are not monetized, what's to stop them from, once you reach that threshold of being monetized, not giving you the money you deserve, right? So I could see that becoming a problem. Now, I haven't seen any not monetized channels yet, or non-monetized channels, have commercials on their shit yet, but I have seen so-called demonetized videos have commercials on them. So, I don't know. Go figure. YouTube's just playing a shitty game. Also, how could we not talk about the fire that killed 17 people in the Bronx over the weekend? And that turned, like I said in the Angry Prepper live stream last night, I said that it was a shit show, and it was a shit show through and through. And Yeah, Johnny, we know the shots are not vaccines. You know, and a lot of us know that. Maybe I should. You're right. I should stop saying that and just call it a shot, right? But for the liberals who are probably watching, they're thinking they're safe by getting this stuff, and then their excuse, their turnaround. Before I get into the fire a little more, their turnaround is, well, at least less people are going to the hospital. Now they're saying less people are going to the hospital, not that no one's going to the hospital. Or less people are dying, not that no one's dying. It's less people are dying. They're gonna come up with every excuse they need to come up with to make themselves feel better. That's the bottom line when it comes to this the shot. Now, guys, the fire. Back to that. It was a shit show, right? And the problem is the problem with the fire is that it was a multitude of things. It wasn't one. It wasn't one issue. It was multiple issues. And the problem is they're going to have to pinpoint it to Andrew. Liberals do watch because I get fucking complaints enough, or my videos will wind up being demonetized months later. That means a liberal out there is watching and going, "Oh my God, he's such an offensive Negro. I have to demonetize his channel." And then they complain, and then they complain on probably 5 different accounts, or they tell their buddies to complain about it, and the video winds up getting demonetized until I appeal it later. And this is months later. This is not like right away. Anyway, so guys, with a fire like that that had multiple issues, multiple problems, right? You had a front door that was stuck open. So the tenant said, I don't believe that for a second. I think he just panicked and ran out of the apartment, and he probably knocked something over, not realizing that it jammed his door open. Right? There's that. There's also the fact that there were doorways on floors above that were stuck open. The stairways, both of them were filled with smoke, which one is supposed to be filled with smoke for firefighters to actually advance, and the other one's supposed to be the escape stairway for civilians and everybody to come down with. And not saying that it would be clearer smoke, it would be less smoke. But again, guys, a lot of shit went down, and a lot of shit went down, and a lot of things are definitely going to come to light. Now, it was a NYCHA building. I found out last night. NYCHA is a New York City Housing Authority, right? So, New York City Housing, guys, I went on this rant last night. I'm not going to get into it tonight. Today, I'm just going to say that NYCHA is a shitbag agency. They're the worst agency in New York City. I think the traffic cops are a step above them, all right? And yet, there were a lot of problems with that building, and they said that they said that the inspections found a lot of fucking discrepancies in the building and malfunctioning doors and all this other bullshit. Now, when it comes to NYCHA, guys, they'll look at that shit till they're blue in the face. They'll look at the building. They'll tell the NYCHA about all the discrepancies. NYCHA will look at it and go, okay, we'll handle it tomorrow. Then tomorrow becomes next year, right? So who's they gonna blame? Well, whoever that manager was in that building, he's gonna be the fall guy, and then that's it. They're gonna fire that dude or the crew that he worked with, or the crew that he worked with. They're gonna put him in other buildings throughout the city as a punishment, and then that's it. And then everybody's gonna be like, okay, that was done. No, you got to start at the top, fire that fucking asshole, and work your way down to the bottom, and actually fire everybody in between. Fuck them, because they're all useless bags of shits. You know, um, that's NYCHA, and NYCHA has forever never doing their job. They never do what they're supposed to do. They always pass the buck. They, like I said, they're the worst. So the problem starts with NYCHA right there. Once I found out it was a NYCHA building, I'm like, that says it all. You can't sit there and blame the malfunctioning door and this, that, and nope. NYCHA. It all falls on them. Because they're just fucking, they're absolutely the worst. So, other than that, guys, there'll be more to come out of this fire. There'll be more findings to come out of this fire. We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, I am not, I won't be a fireman anymore in 3 days. So, I'll have to ask guys at work or go on, ask guys at work what the findings were, and we'll see what happens. Quitting or fired for not getting vax. Mark McKinley, if you're asking me, was I quitting or fired? I'm retiring. So, because I won't get the vax or the shot. Sorry. Excuse-moi. Sorry. Prepper 101 says the fire spread so fast because people weren't vaccinated. Because AOC said that. I listen. I wouldn't be surprised. Listen, Mark Levine made it a political thing last night or 2 nights ago. He made it political. He was like, you won't see that in uh, rich white apartment buildings downtown. No, you won't. Because NYCHA employees suck. And NYCHA is the worst. NYCHA has the worst. I don't know how many more times I can say it. NYCHA just sucks. They're dicks. AOC is the dumbest. Absolutely. Her response to Republicans being jealous of her, that was weird. You know? Oh, they're jealous they can't have me and some shit. I'm like, what the fuck was that? Why was that your response to them breaking your balls? Like, strange. Colleen, thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. And there was another donation earlier. If I missed it, I'm sorry. Thank you for the donation, guys. Yeah, so that being said, guys, we'll have to wait and see what comes out of this fire thing. As far as them trying to make it political, it's not a political thing. It's a lack of workers, or it's a lack of responsibility with NYCHA. NYCHA doesn't want to take responsibility. And that's what it comes down to. It's not racial. It's fucking NYCHA and that piece of shit agency. All right. So anyway, moving right along, we have Eric Adams, the new New York City mayor. He was inaugurated January 1st, right after midnight. Why? Because the mayor is an attention whore. All right. So Eric Adams is an attention whore. Eric Adams has a lot of corruption starting to build. So he's building the corruption pyramid right before our eyes. So Eric Adams decides he's going to hire nothing but black folks because he wants to fight against white supremacy. That was his answer. It was in a news article, so I couldn't believe it. But when I saw it, I was like, all right. His answer to hiring an all-black cabinet, I guess, right, was to fight white supremacy. So he's hiring people based on their skin color and not their merits and not their worth ethics, right? Guys, New York City's toast. So now, when I thought Eric Adams was going to fight crime, at the very least, I knew he wasn't going to be good for anything else in the city, but I said, at least he'll get the crime under control. Nope, he won't even do that. He hired or appointed, a DA called Alvin Braggs, who's the district attorney for New York City. Okay, yes, guys, for those of you that don't know what housing authority is low income housing, right? So if you're poor, broke, looking to, skirt the system, you live in the housing projects. Now, most people that live in housing projects they can't afford regular rent, so they live there, and the workers there are pieces of shit. Hopefully, that's it in a nutshell. All right. So anyway, guys, with Eric Adams, he hires this DA. And it's, yes, thank you, Johnny, black privilege, right? That's what it is. So he's hiring all of these folks. For example, he hired the NYPD commissioner. First of all, he was only looking at black females. He wasn't looking at anybody else. There was one white female. She was the old chief of police for Newark. She retired in 2020, 2 years ago. So that was the only white woman he was looking at. Everybody else was black, because he wanted to make a historical choice, and he said that. He went out of his way to say, I am picking somebody who's going to be a historical pick. Right there we knew it was going to be black, and right there we knew it was going to be a woman. So never mind all the other people out there, men, who have a resume to go along with running a city like New York. He goes out of his way to just pick black women. Now, that being said, okay, you're going to pick a black woman, fine. But he was only going to pick black women who were going to kiss his ass and that he could micromanage. Because there was one chick that he didn't pick who was an NYPD cop for over 20 years. She was also a chief on the department. I don't know what what she was chief of, but she was a chief on the department. And because she didn't want Adams micromanaging her, he didn't pick her. So instead, he picked this chick who was the chief of police out in Long Island somewhere. Which, Long Island, guys, they have a smaller police force and they have way less crime. New York City has a gigantic police force, way more crime. You would pick a person who worked in NYPD. And if you were going to look at black women, there were three black women that he should have picked, which were Juanita Holmes, who was said not to have wanted the job, Judith Harrison, and Donna Jones. Those three were chiefs in the department, and I'm pretty sure if there's a cop on here, they're like, fuck those bitches. They're assholes too. But at least those are assholes you know. Those are assholes who know the job in and out. You're now looking for a woman who doesn't know the job, and she doesn't, not that she doesn't know the job, she doesn't know the agency. Right? But anyway, we will see what she does. So far, the new police commissioner has already put a foot in it by putting her foot up Alvin Bragg's ass by firing back at him with his soft approach on crime. So Alvin Bragg's the district attorney from Manhattan is going soft on criminals here in New York City. So you could pretty much do whatever the fuck you want. And with that, he's going to lessen your charges. He already started that with the knife wielding guy who robbed a CVS or Dwayne Reed's at knife point, and they downgraded his charges to a misdemeanor. So she's already firing back at him, so I do appreciate that. At least she has balls enough to say what needs to be said. Um, Again, Eric Adams also hired his brother as deputy police commissioner. How do you hire your brother for deputy police commissioner? I find that very, very interesting. And that's part of the scandal, guys. First of all, one part of the scandal is hiring everybody just because of the color of their skin. That's one. Two, you're hiring your brother for deputy police commissioner. Your brother. Now, his brother was a cop, but hasn't been a cop in a few years. But I'm like, all right, but still, it's your brother. That fucking screams corruption. And then you hire another cop, an ex-cop, who was in trouble for some kind of scandal a couple of years ago. But he doesn't give a fuck. The guy's black, so I'm hiring him. So, Eric Adams is absolutely going to destroy the city. The frugal fixer, absolutely. Nepotism. And nepotism is against the law, if I'm not mistaken, here in New York City and New York State. And yet, here he is, hiring people just because. I know that guy because we used to fucking sling rocks back in the days, drugs. I know this guy because I grew up with him. He's my brother. You know, I mean, like, yo, it's insane. It's insane where this guy is going with this, but where he's going with this isn't good. So, again, guys, also a little tidbit information about Eric Adams. So Eric Adams has been a cop for over 20 years. He retired as a captain. He started a group in New York City called 100 Black Men for Law Enforcement. 100 Blacks in Law Enforcement, sorry, who care. They wanted to fight against corruption and the mistreatment of blacks on the job and off the job. They were a group, I have to say, that were probably needed when he started them. Not anymore. And maybe they shouldn't call them 100 blacks in law enforcement. Maybe they shouldn't say many blacks in law enforcement because there are more than 100 blacks now. But anyway, that being said, guys, Eric Adams is a fucking douchebag. He is going to make... He's probably going to be a step above de Blasio because de Blasio was a true piece of shit. But we have to wait and see. I think Eric Adams is absolutely going to put his foot in it and make things worse. He thinks he's going to make things better because he's arrogant. I mean, listen, arrogant's fine as long as you get something done. But you can't be arrogant and not get anything done. But, you know, he's going to, whatever, wreck the city. So, looking up or researching Eric Adams, I fell upon Wikipedia. And Wikipedia talks about Eric Adams in his earlier years and the things he'd done and how he used to hold money for drug dealers because that's not a crime. And he used to help out a hooker, stripper by the name of Twinkle Toes. I don't know. I forgot her name. I'm making that up. But anyway, being that he actually ran in the drug industry. And so, anyway, they stole this lady's TV set and stereo system when she didn't pay up for the services he was providing her because she didn't pay him for the services he was providing her, right? And which was like, helping her, I'm sorry, move groceries, helping her carry her bags up the floor. And when she got hurt, when she broke her leg or some shit like that, so they stole her shit. And when the cops found them, his brother, and him found them selling her stolen TV set and stereo system, the cops beat him. So we're not sure how badly beaten he was, but he says he was traumatized by it. And so he visited the precinct when he got fucking inaugurated just a couple days ago. He visited the precinct that beat him when he was a kid, over 40 years ago. I'm like, first of all, fuckface, the precinct didn't beat you. The fucking cops that worked there did. That's one. Two, you stole some shit, asshole. So yeah, you got a beating for being a dick. So I mean, like, for him to sit there and say he got beat, he made it sound like he got beat for no reason. Made it sound like he was walking down the street and two cops were like, "Oh my God, a Negro, let's get him," and then beat him for no apparent reason. He was fucking being a criminal. He was fucking stealing, and he got his ass handed to him. Yo, that's all it was. That's all it was. But whatever. He tries to make it sound like he was innocent in the whole thing. Fuck him. He's not innocent. So anyway, that being said, a guy that could spin a story around, make himself look like an victim when he was a criminal, will tell you everything you need to know about this man. And the fact that he still sticks by this story, and he doesn't go, well, you know what, I was a kid, I fucked up, I did this. He's not doing that. He's not saying that. That tells you right then and there that he's going to be a bag of shit down the line. So, Eric Adams is absolutely... Oh, so here's the other thing, too. Again, looking at Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is fucking turned into a horrendous information site. There are some good things in Wikipedia, but you also have to be careful what you read out of Wikipedia. That being said, they had something about him being in 9/11. So I'm like, oh, okay, he was at the Trade Center. So this is what they wrote in Wikipedia, guys. Adams was a first responder at the World Trade Center site during the aftermath of the September 11th attacks. He arrived at Ground Zero during the evening of September 11th and was in charge of leading a group of police officers to secure the site in the event of a second attack. Okay, because this sounds like a stroke job, okay? So they write it as if he was heroic for showing up after two planes went into a building the evening of September 11th, guys. The evening. That means he went there at night, hours after both towers are down, and he went there to secure the site in the event of a second attack. Secondly, a second attack would have happened almost immediately. The cops had already secured the area around it before his fucking cowardly ass showed up at night. A lot of us were there during the day. Walk it back. A lot of us were there before both towers came down. A lot of us were there doing what was supposed to be done and what was needed to be done before they came down. So to sit there and try to make him look heroic for showing up at night, that's like, guys, the shooting's over. Let's fucking peek our heads out and see what's going on. And then when you realize the shooting's done, you're like, all right, I was at that shooting. I made sure the shooting was over when the shooting was done. That's what they're trying to make it look like. So, guys, again, stupid. The stupid shit show. And yes, the second attack did happen. The second fucking plane flying into the building. Or the third attack, the one hitting the... I don't want to talk about the Pentagon because that one's just going to piss me off. But, before getting into it, there was a second attack, the second plane. Both buildings fall down. But to try to make them look heroic, guys, is fucking... Ugh. I was really disgusted by that. Whatever. It's my pet peeve when people who were there try to make themselves look bigger than they really were. And they were like, well, you know what? I was there and I saw you. All right, great. You were there. You did what you were supposed to fucking do. And that's what pisses me off about that. But anyway, Eric Adams' corruption begins, and we're going to see his corruption flourish for the next 4 fucking years. And unfortunately, the way this city run, guys, Eric Adams is going to do 8 years. That's just what it is. There's no one that's going to challenge him come the end of his 4th year. So 2026, he's going to be the fucking mayor again. It is what it is. Yes, and it was actually more than 3 buildings. I know whoever said that, it was multiple buildings fell down that day. But we're not going to get into it. That's a story for another time. So, also, New York City students, guys, walked out of school yesterday. I think it was one school downtown. Because of the COVID conditions. They were scared about getting sick or being sick or getting sick. Sorry. So a lot of students, they were saying, this one student on TV last night said, couldn't believe the shit I was hearing, that students are testing themselves multiple times a day because they're scared. All right, let me enlighten you. If you are fucking scared of this, you're a straight up and down bitch. Sorry. I don't give a fuck what walk of life you're from. I don't care if you have comorbidities up the ass. If you're scared of this shit, you need to fucking stop. These kids being scared of this virus and testing themselves multiple times a day means that the fear is being instilled in them and they are falling for it. The fear tactics is complete. They got kids testing themselves multiple times a day in high school, guys. And these kids are like, we don't want to get it, and we're testing ourselves to make sure we don't get sick. Well, testing yourself multiple times a day is not going to stop you from getting sick, stupid. So, these kids are stupid. So, our generation of kids here in Manhattan, they're done. They're pussified. They're for the males, their nuts are cut off. They're going to join the fucking ranks of women now. Because they're fucking testing multiple times a day. Yes, guys, brainwash. Brainwash is probably an understatement. What is that? That mass psychosis formation? That's what this is. And people like, that doesn't exist. I read an article saying that doesn't exist. That is a made up term. Yeah, it's a made up term. Dr. Malone made it up because that's what it is. People are being psychologically scared into doing shit. And then before you know it, it takes on its own form. I'm more scared of the jab. I ain't scared of shit. I ain't scared of the jab. I ain't scared of the vaccine. Mass formation psychosis. I said mass psychosis formation. Thank you, Enoch. Right, mass formation psychosis. Right, it was dubbed by Dr. Malone. Guys, we're seeing this in real time. We're seeing this with kids getting tested. So anyway, the kids walking out of school. Guys, you can tell kids today, listen, man, we're going to walk out of school today because they're taking Spam off the shelves in the supermarket. And kids will be like, we're walking out. Kids will walk out for whatever reason they need to walk out of school. Whenever kids stage a walkout, that means dick to me. You tell kids you're walking out because they're taking, Yellowstone off the air. They're like, oh my God, no, they can't do that. And they'll walk out of college. They're gonna walk out because they're not allowing Eric Adams to fucking put more cops on the street. Kids will walk out of school. Kids will walk out of school for any fucking reason you give them. So, students walking out is the stupidest thing. People paying attention to that, you're about as dumb as the kids. Because kids, like I said, they walk out. Listen, oh my God, they didn't give us enough snow days. We're walking out of school. All right, guys. So whatever. The city is a shit show. Sorry, the city is going to get worse, and the city is going to, unfortunately, guys, this citizens of New York City are going to pay for this dearly. We're going to pay for this dearly with a shit mayor. We're going to pay this dearly because they keep scaring everybody. They have testing sites all over the city, guys. I could throw a rock right now and hit 8 fucking testing sites with one rock. All right? This is how bad it's gotten here in the city. Scare, scare, scare. Do what we say. If you don't, you can't do this. If you don't, you can't do that. If you don't, you can't go back to school. It's fucking just fear tactics all the way around. And then you got the other side. Listen, there's scare tactics on both ends, guys. There's scare tactics going too far to the left, too far to the right. Other than that, guys, thank you for joining me this morning. We ran 35 minutes, which is good. I try not to keep this too long, but hey, Northern Girl, what's going on? Blue Vandal, thank you for doing what you were doing today, guys. I appreciate. Oh, and my wife was on today, guys. I know you guys already noticed, but she was modding as well. So, guys, again, thank you for modding. Thank you for joining me this morning, and I will see you guys next weekend with the Wednesday midweek morning report. And I will be on a doubleheader live stream either Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided yet. See how I feel. And other than that, guys, thank you for joining me.